And then one goes off and lives in a castle just because she can't deal anymore.
We have a few protesters standing outside the courtroom.
She was lied to and set up.
So I'm here today to answer all of your questions in the comments.
For over 10 years, Britney Spears' fans have been trying to rescue the pop star from her conservatorship, but Britney's recent strange behavior has fans concerned, and Britney herself seems to want out. We have a full kettle, and it's about to spill. Before we go any further, let's go back to the end of 2019. In September 2019, Britney's father, Jamie Spears, stepped down as permanent conservator, officially citing health issues. However, around the same time, The Blast cited a source close to the family who said Jamie allegedly violently shook Britney's 13-year-old son, Sean, during an argument. Jamie was not charged after the Ventura County Sheriff's Office said the case had insufficient evidence. But Kevin Federline, Britney's ex-husband and the father of her children, was granted a restraining order on behalf of Britney's sons against Jamie after the incident. Back to this year. In February 2020, a Los Angeles County judge ordered for the conservatorship to remain in place for several more months, despite rumors that Britney wants to remove some restrictions. According to court documents, the conservatorship would be extended until at least April 30th, 2020. On March 4th, Britney's younger son Jaden James went live on his Instagram account and spoke about his mother and her career. When he was asked if his grandfather was a jerk, Jaden said, "Yeah, he's a pretty big." He also spoke highly of his father and his grandmother, saying they were the best dad and the best grandma. When another commenter told him to help his mother break free, Jaden said, "See, that's what I'm trying to do." When someone asked if his mother was being controlled, Jaden said no. When a fan asked if Britney would be releasing new music soon, Jaden replied, "Actually, I haven't seen her doing a lot of music at all. I don't know, dude. Actually, I don't even know. I remember one time I asked her, 'Mom, what happened to your music?' And she was like, 'I don't know, honey. I think I might just quit it.' And I'm like, what? What are you saying? Like, you know how much bank you make off of that stuff? Like, yeah." Throughout the lockdown, fans have suspected that Britney has been sending coded cries for help through her Instagram account. In one instance, a fan asked Britney to wear a yellow shirt in her next post if she needed help, and she did. In another instance, Britney shared a photo of a rose and captioned it with a quote from Arundhati Roy. A Twitter user discovered the quote came from Arundhati's book, The God of Small Things, whose plot partially focuses on a woman desperate to escape her father. Amidst the growing concern over Britney's well-being, several posts have been widely shared about Britney's conservatorship that have some unverified claims about the conditions Britney has been living under. In July, Britney posted a photo of a Bible verse, "Be on your guard. Stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong." In the caption, she wrote, "I get how some people might not like my posts or even understand them, but this is me being happy. This is me being authentic and as real as it gets. I want to inspire people to do the same and just be themselves without pleasing others. That's the key to happiness." However, Britney's post didn't quiet her concerned fans. Fans launched a Change.org petition that has over 100,000 signatures. They also launched a White House petition with over 130,000 signatures. Any petition that receives 100,000 signatures in 30 days will get a response from the White House. Back in April, all temporary orders regarding Britney's conservatorship were extended until August, with a new hearing scheduled for July 22nd. The hearing, which happened a few days after Britney's post addressing her Instagram account, took place over Zoom. Britney was supposed to make an appearance, but she was not marked as present in the court minutes. The court also granted Jamie Spears' motion to seal court records on the conservatorship, meaning updates on the legal proceedings won't be widely reported. Meanwhile, fans gathered outside the downtown Los Angeles courthouse to protest Britney's conservatorship. They were banned from entering the courthouse. From here, there are some conflicting reports as to what happened at the hearing. One fan present at the courthouse said Britney was trying to connect to the Zoom call but was having technical difficulties. The fan also said they were trying to get the technical issues sorted. By the time those issues were fixed, they had to wait for Child Protective Services. However, when CPS arrived, the judge said it was too late and rescheduled the hearing. But TMZ reported that the hearing was postponed when members of the public, possibly protesters, joined the Zoom call before the judge started discussing confidential matters. When the confidential portion began, the members of the public left, then came back and refused to leave. Over 2 hours later, the judge gave up and rescheduled the hearing. TMZ also clarified that while Jody Montgomery is still the conservator over Britney's personal affairs, Jamie was the conservator over her business affairs. According to the blast, the new hearing date was scheduled for August 19th. While all this was going on, Britney's family members, friends, and fellow celebrities started speaking out about the situation. In July, Britney's sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, made an Instagram post about mental health. She posted a screenshot of a Halsey tweet about mental health and captioned it, "If you deal with mental illness or care for someone dealing with mental illness, then you know how important it is to respect the situation with privacy for the person." One person commented, "How about your sister's obvious mental illness? Why don't you speak on that?" Jamie Lynn replied, "You have no right to assume anything about my sister, and I have no right to speak about her health and personal matters. She is a strong, unstoppable woman, and that's the only thing that is obvious." Jamie Lynn later deleted the post. Also in July, Britney's brother Brian appeared on the As Not Seen on TV podcast where he discussed the conservatorship. He said Britney always wanted to get out of the conservatorship because of the restrictions put on her life. "It's very frustrating to have. Whether someone's coming in peace to help or coming in with an attitude, having someone constantly tell you to do something has got to be frustrating." Brian also described the conservatorship as a good thing for the family. "We kind of came together and not everybody agreed with it either. Everyone had their own opinion, like maybe we should do it this way or that way. But at the end, I think we made the right choice." He said he was concerned about the impact on Britney's life if the family lifted the conservatorship. "She's been surrounded by a team of people since she was 15. So at what level does everyone just walk away or get reduced?" He also explained that Britney has not made reservations, driven herself, or done everyday tasks for much of her adult life. However, some people didn't like Brian's comments. "This is such a frustrating interview with Brian Spears. The interviewer, who couldn't even pronounce conservatorship, has zero knowledge of Free Britney, and Brian joked about her freedom, then whined about how much it sucks to have so many strong-minded women in the family." Lynn Spears, Britney's mom, filed a request with the Los Angeles Superior Court to have a say in all matters related to Britney's trust. Speaking to Page 6, Jamie Spears called the Free Britney campaign a joke. "All these theorists don't know anything. The world don't have a clue. It's up to the Court of California to decide what's best for my daughter. It's no one else's business." He also denied stealing any money from Britney. "I have to report every nickel and dime spent to the court every year. How the hell would I steal something?" Jamie spoke about the aggressive nature of the campaign. "People are being stalked and targeted with It's horrible. We don't want those kinds of fans. I love all my kids, but this is our business. It's private." Britney's former colleagues also spoke out. Billy B., Britney's former makeup artist, made a series of Instagram posts addressing the movement. He posted a photo of Britney with the Free Britney hashtag over it, captioning it, "Yep, truth, and I have the receipt." He also posted a series of quotes. "Speaking up is gossip until it's under oath. When anyone is under the total control of others, it becomes their normal, and even they don't see how abnormal it is. Sometimes you must scream and shout for those who have no choice." The next post did not directly name Britney, but it seemed to reference Jamie Spears' interview with the New York Post, where he referred to Free Britney supporters as theorists. When someone deems you a theorist, off the top of my head, I'll offer this analogy. Let's pretend that, the biggest star in the world is on stage, let's say Broadway or even Las Vegas, a choreographed performance in front of thousands, not just one time but every night. But when off stage is told that they are incapable of essentially doing anything else but being a trick pony in an endless episode of Toddlers and Tiaras. And that happens over and over. Well, that just doesn't make much sense, even to the average person like me. Okay, so if I think that sounds weird, then I am a theorist. Well, okay, that's fine, because I've been called much worse. Call me what you want, but I have eyes, and the world is watching. And P.S., let me say this, Helen Keller, R.I.P., can see 2020 that there's something about that. Well, that's just not right. He made a follow-up post. Let me break this down for the very few that claim to be fans of Britney's that are coming for me again, saying things like, he's not speaking out, he hasn't said and my favorite, oh, he's the one that made her look like 1. My speaking isn't to please you, but to help Britney and her mother. This isn't about you. Why would I waste my truth on you? When I speak, it will be when it is time, and when it's right. Not when it's right for you, but when it's right for Britney. In a forum that matters, not on Instagram. Again, this is not about you. To clarify, the response of my willingness to help if I can has been overwhelmingly positive. I have received hundreds of private messages from fans that love Britney as I do. And then there is the 2 or 3 ignorant that are just completely toxic. Just FYI, unlike most on Instagram, I do my best to read everything, good and bad. I learned that from Lady Gaga. Now let me say this, anyone, and I mean anyone, that says Britney looked old, she looked like or anything like that, is exactly the type of person that she needs protection from. Britney is a grown woman. No one has total control over how someone looks, and no one ever should. You are part of the problem. You want Britney the way you want her to be. Britney is a human being. You should be ashamed of yourselves. You are no better than those who want control of her, and at any cost. You can come for me all you want. But the instant that you make some ignorant, insulting comment against me, it is also an ignorant, insulting comment about her. You aren't a fan, you are a hater. Again, comments like these are irrelevant. I don't do irrelevant. He also made a post addressing Britney's mother. Let's nip this in the bud right now. Of course, now, some of you immediately focused on one word out of all the words I said in my previous post. Yes, her mother. I happen to know her mom, and I'm guessing that few people do. With that being said, mothers aren't perfect. None of us are. I question that those that are quick to choose the only thing where I've mentioned Britney's mom. Have you done your homework? First of all, can you please open your mind and your heart? I fully understand that when there is money involved, lots of money, it's hard to trust anyone. There must be a check and balance. That is a must. To those of you that are now focusing on my inclusion of her mother, and that, if I can, I will help Britney, and yes, her mother, Britney's mom has filed to have a say in all of this. Let me attempt to explain this in a way that maybe you can understand. She is filing against her husband. That is a mother's love personified. It is a beginning. Check and balance. Careful what you say, because it can appear as if you want to separate Britney from her mother. Her mother's action is a start, a reason to hope. In another post, Billy B shared screenshots of some of his comments. Oh, trust, there is plenty of tea to be spilled, but only to someone of authority that could possibly help free Britney. Fans bringing awareness is a start. It's insiders that can finish. It's time to not care about being blackballed in Hollywood or worrying about a career. It's time to stand up and do what's right. I know so many brave women who stood up and others that sacrificed a career to do what's right. I've had my career, and although it is terrifying to do what's right when there is so much to lose, but it's a risk worth taking. He captioned the post, Britney Spears has incredible, passionate fans. Trust me, I know, because a few of you came for me. I appreciate that passion and wanting what is right. I don't know what the answer is, but without truth, there will never be the chance for the answer. Every human being struggles and falls. It is up to each of us to have understanding, compassion, and empathy. Scream and shout if that's what it takes to get attention. And I know that if anyone can bring attention to something, it is the fans. This is what I will say. I was booked with Britney once, and it only took that one time for me to love Britney, not the superstar, but the person. I worked every day with her every day for quite some time. I got to know her, I got to see her, and I, like you, I am concerned, and I will do whatever I can, if asked, to help her to free Britney. Anyone deserves freedom, but trust, it's complicated. Thank you guys for loving her and caring about her, and for understanding what I know, that you know, and what I am saying. Billy B then spoke to The Blast about his comments. My only interest is Britney's well-being. I need to be very careful that my words are used in the most strategic way to help this cause. Andrew Gallery, a photographer who toured with Britney in 2008 and 2009, posted several TikToks reading a letter he said Britney had written for him to share. He claimed the conservatorship had taken the letter and had it destroyed, but he made a copy before the conservatorship destroyed the original. Here is the letter.
After reading Kevin's article in People, I was amazed at how a lot of the focus was on Britney, their mother, in order to sell a story for People magazine, instead of the focus being on Kevin. What happened to Britney was a year ago, and people need to get with the times. And as for Kevin saying Britney divorced him, she just was forced by her lawyers because she went to visit him in New York, and he wouldn't see her and the children, and her lawyers said if she doesn't divorce him, he's gonna do it himself. So Kevin trying to play the innocent victim is hardly irrelevant. He left her and the babies. Her going on the men partying 2 years ago has nothing to do with the situation now. She's a completely different person, and most of their fighting was done back then because of his problem waking and baking at 5 o'clock in the morning. No one talks about these things because no one knows the truth. Her behavior when her children got taken away because of her locking herself in the bathroom is understandable, considering her friend at the door kept telling her the cops are stay in the bathroom. She was lied to and set up. Her children were taken away, and she did spin out of control, which any mother would in those circumstances. Her next visit took a toll. As well, she wasn't listening to her manager. He lost control, so he wanted to scare her. Now, this year, Britney has been silenced to speak about anything that's really going on. The people controlling her life have made $3 million this year. If she speaks up, she would love for new eyes to see her situation, but if she brings it up, she's constantly that the conservators will take her kids away. So how long does this go on? As long as the people are getting paid and she has no rights, it could go on for a while, but it doesn't make it right at all. Everyone is very quick to put a gloomy eye on Britney. Does anyone talk about Janet Jackson giving her baby to her brother? Hopefully she won't do it with this. Britney's given her brother a $2 million apartment, her mother a $4 million estate in Louisiana, and her father the best job in show business. She's a very giving person and would love to get the respect she deserves.
Lance Bass, a member of boy band NSYNC who was popular around the same time as Britney's heyday in the late 90s and early 2000s, also spoke out. In an episode of his podcast, The Daily Popcast, Lance said he felt conflicted about discussing the conservatorship, but said her recent Instagram posts have been out of character. I get a lot of questions about this, but I always stay silent because I'm like, I don't know. If I had something positive or some real information to share, I probably would. Obviously, she's got some problems. I don't know what she's going through. I don't know exactly what her diagnoses are, but online, these videos are definitely out of character for her. This is kind of a new thing, so something's going on. I think that's why a lot of the fans are like, she's being held hostage because she's acting so strange, but I think it could just be her medication doing this. She feels very happy and wants to do these videos. I don't see any danger in it. I think they're kind of fun and positive. I would be more worried if she disappeared from social media. Lance also defended Britney's siblings. They would never want to hurt their sister, and they would never go along with anyone taking advantage of her. They just wouldn't. I think they would be privy to what's going on with their parents taking care of her. He said one of his friends helps oversee Britney's conservatorship and said if there was any mistreatment, officials would know. So if you're saying all of this is illegally done for her, then this judge is doing the illegal stuff. So you need to go after the judge, not anyone else, but the judge. I just think we need to trust the system. We can be skeptical and be theorists all day long, but then you have to use common sense. Do we really know? And what really makes sense here? Miley Cyrus, who has screamed "Free Britney" at some of her concerts, also weighed in. It's a treat others the way you wanted to be treated kind of thing. I definitely don't know her personally enough to know any of the details. I scream a lot of things at my show. I also think Britney, like anyone else, should have the freedom to live the life that's most authentic to her. Then, on August 18th, a judge ordered Britney's conservatorship extended until at least February 1st, 2021. Britney also requested her father be removed as sole conservator of her estate, according to court documents. She said she wanted Jody Montgomery to remain as her personal conservator. The judge ordered a hearing on Britney's request in October. Britney's lawyer, Samuel Ingham, wrote, "Without in any way waiving her right to seek termination of this conservatorship in the future, Britney would like Miss Montgomery's appointment as conservator of her person to be made permanent. She strongly prefers to have a qualified corporate fiduciary appointed to serve as conservator of her estate." In court documents seen by The Sun, Britney's lawyer allegedly wrote that she did not want to perform live at this time. Meanwhile, Jamie petitioned the Superior Court of California to reinstate him and Andrew Wallet as co-conservators, which goes against Britney's express wishes. The American Civil Liberties Union tweeted a message supporting Britney. People with disabilities have a right to lead self-directed lives and retain their civil rights. If Britney Spears wants to regain her civil liberties and get out of her conservatorship, we are here to help her. A few days after the hearing, Britney posted a video on Instagram where she answered some fan questions, including her favorite book, restaurant, and holiday. She did not answer any questions about the conservatorship. She captioned the video, "I feel like we will look back at this time in quarantine as a huge transitional stage in our lives. We don't know when things will go back to normal, but we are staying positive and learning so much about ourselves. For me, I want to thank all my dear, sweet, real fans for being so damn wonderful. I can feel your hearts and I know you can feel mine. Thank you for your support." Many people in the comments were concerned about Britney's well-being after seeing the strange video. Then, the BBC and the Los Angeles Times reported that Britney's sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, was seeking control of money set aside in a trust fund for Britney's children. Jamie Lynn was named a trustee of Britney's estate in 2018. On September 3rd, TMZ reported that Britney's lawyers filed paperwork opposing Jamie's motion to seal court records on the conservatorship. Her lawyers said Britney wants an independent person to become a co-conservator, not Andrew Wallet, who had been involved for many years. One lawyer said Britney herself is vehemently opposed to this effort by her father to keep her legal struggle hidden away in the closet as a family secret. Far from being a theory or a joke, as Jamie reportedly told the media, in large part, this scrutiny is a reasonable and even predictable result of James's aggressive use of the sealing procedure over the years to minimize the amount of meaningful information made available to the public. Britney's lawyers also attached an article about the Free Britney movement to the legal paperwork and said Britney wants to live a more independent life. The lawyer said Britney welcomes and appreciates her fans' informed support. On September 8th, Britney posted a strange Instagram story.
People have been saying that a lot of my posts are not new, but they're old. But just to let you guys know, none of my pictures or posts are more than a month old. Yes, I know I did wear the same top 17 times, but it's for a Project Rose. And you will be seeing way more of Project Rose in the future.
Many fans were concerned about Britney, and after some research, some people found an organization called Project Rose, an alleged organization based in Arizona that was accused of harming sex workers. That seems to be the end of the situation for now. So, what's the big issue? The pros and cons of a conservatorship and how to report on mental illness in a responsible way. Throughout the Free Britney saga, many people have been concerned about the use of a conservatorship in Britney's specific situation. According to FamilyLawServices.com, a conservatorship is a form of protection for a person with limited abilities for self-care that comes with its own set of advantages and disadvantages, all of which deserve careful consideration before pursuing conservatorship for an individual in need. A conservatorship is meant for people who are no longer able to manage their own affairs, and it provides more protection for the conservatee because of the court oversight. However, conservatorships are typically established for adults in comas, adults who have advanced Alzheimer's disease, or adults who have other serious illnesses or injuries. While an argument can be made for Britney being placed under conservatorship back in 2008, it seems unusual that Britney has remained in the conservatorship for the past 12 years, with her life seemingly back on track and her mental health more stable. So we can see why some fans are concerned about the alleged control over Britney's life through the conservatorship. While it was clear that Britney needed support back in 2007 and 2008, the way the media covered her during that time painted her as a person who was crazy rather than a person who needed help. Since then, mental health advocacy groups and industry professionals have made guidelines on how to responsibly report on mental health and mental illness. The American Psychiatric Association emphasizes using accurate language when discussing mental health. The mental health condition, or physical or other condition, is only one aspect of a person's life, not the defining characteristic. Be specific. Mental illness is a general condition. Specific disorders are types of mental illnesses and should be used whenever possible. Avoid derogatory language. Terms such as psycho, crazy, and junkie should not be used. In addition, avoid words like suffering or victim when discussing those who have mental health challenges. Psychologist Dr. John Grahal also encourages writers to discuss positive outcomes of mental illness and focus on hope. Hope is what drives motivation to change, and without it, all the talk in the world about mental illness and mental health is lost. Most people who suffer from a mental illness never seek out treatment. These are things that can change with thoughtful reporting and writing. It's easy to see why people are concerned about Britney's well-being, especially because her situation is so unusual. A conservatorship is mainly used for people who are severely incapacitated, and while some may make the case that Britney was unable to manage her affairs 12 years ago, it's hard to explain why she still needs that kind of control. But it's also important to remember that we don't know the whole story, and we may never know everything that happened. While it's good to be concerned about Britney's welfare, we have to remember that many things happen behind the scenes that we'll never understand, and that Britney's welfare must always come first. What do you think about this story? Do you think Britney is under too much control? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, hit the like button. To keep up on all the tea, consider subscribing to the channel.